Hey, what's up? Cuckoo and bonsoir. My name is Hollywood Jade, and you've been listening to Your Beautiful Day on the Gratitude Radio Network.
Hey guys, welcome to Your Beautiful Day. I'm Jennifer Hall, Mother of Gratitude, where I hope you have a beautiful day everywhere that you go. And with us, I'm excited because I get to be a little naughty. I get to show you my little naughty side today. But before, I want to introduce my co-hosts, Pearl Sharenza. Hi, Pearl.
Hi, Jen. Hey, Neil. It's good to be back again. I'm so excited for this segment today. It's so fun after having Broadway to have this really cool new piece that we're bringing today. So take it away, Jen, and introduce our guest.
Thanks, Neil, for being with us, too. I appreciate you so much. And Neil is our in-house PR firm. So if you need PR, Gratitude Radio has you covered. So today, I get to be a little naughty. This is one of my favorite things in the whole world. And I am talking burlesque, baby. I love it. From the flamethrowers to the women. I feel like a kid in a candy store. The choreography is amazing. The costumes are amazing. And I wish I had the technical skill to look that good, but it's not going to happen. So today we have in the house Hollywood Jade, choreographer for Canada Drag Race. And he has a virtual viewing of his show, Urbanesque, Jade Rose Show on February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day. And welcome to the show, Jade.
Thank you so much, Jen and Pearl, for having me. I am excited to talk some burlesque with you.
Yes, and I'm going to moderate this because this is an interesting interview. Just go right to Jen with the first question because I'm going to learn about how everything about this. So go ahead, Jen.
Oh my gosh, it just captures my imagination every time I see burlesque. So just tell us how you got started and how this is your jam.
Perfect. So I am a choreographer based in Toronto, Ontario, and I 10 years ago started an urban burlesque company in Toronto called Urbanesque. And my inspiration came from partially the movie Burlesque, partially because I was working back and forth between Toronto and LA, and burlesque is really big in California. And I had never actually been to a burlesque show until one of the choreographers that I was working with, her name's Ebony Nichols. She was in a burlesque show. And I went to see the show and I was like, this is what I want to do in Toronto. Because I'd always choreographed, but my work usually was misunderstood because it needed to be seen in a fuller context, right? And so I decided I was going to produce the show, and I auditioned girls and I taught them old pieces that I had and some new ones, and the rest is history. We're celebrating our 10-year anniversary next month in March.
Wow, that's amazing. 10 years. I didn't realize that, Hollywood. That's awesome. Congratulations.
So, thank you so much.
So it sounds like it was something new to Toronto. And I've got many friends up in Canada and everything. How was it received up there? And how did you get it really out to the masses up there to get them to be accepting of it?
Yeah, so I did the very first one at this underground club called El Convento Rico, and the response was insane. Like, people were just like, we've never seen anything like this. We need more of this. Because what I really did was I fused classic burlesque with modern and urban contemporary movement and music. So it was a fusion of the two worlds that I think really intrigued not just the audience, but also like the dancers. They had never explored their sensuality and their sexuality through movement before.
Wow. Okay. So let's, so kind of looking at this, what's the difference of burlesque versus, I guess, the more of a risque stuff? In a way, you're looking back at the old school, because kind of explain that to me.
Mm-hmm. I think the main difference with, I think, burlesque and what makes it burlesque is there's usually an element of performance, right? It's closer to musical theater than it would be to stripping, right? And where the similarity comes in is that within burlesque, there's usually a reveal element. There, you start in one thing, and there's usually some sort of a reveal. Some go further than others. You know, there's levels to how far you will go. Some go all the way to being topless with pasties, and some just like will remove a glove and a hat and a scarf and end up in like a negligee. So the main difference is that the element of reveal is what keeps it classy.
The old school stuff, kind of like when you see in different movies like Blazing Saddles, in a way. Burlesque and Blazing Saddles. And I'm just kind of giving you an example of one where the old school, the 1920s, the Roaring 20s type of thing, right?
Yeah, very, very vaudeville, very saloon based. It was, and if you think about what was acceptable back then, like a woman showing her thigh was like, oh, you know what I mean? So that same element of here comes my leg. It's all really like peekaboo versus ripping your bra off and just being all exposed.
Yeah, that's the whole choreography of it is exciting. The build up, the continued build up. And then one of my friends has a party and we always have burlesque. Mostly we always have burlesque. And I love the fire. Do you guys use fire, or have you?
I don't have fire in my show because fire scares me. And as the choreographer and the producer, I know, and it's a very, it's. I think when I think about fire and like the contortionists, that is more classic burlesque and more vaudeville. And what I lean more towards is if you think about the movie Burlesque, where it still has that element of classic burlesque, but the music sounds so current and it's pumping and it's thriving, whereas a lot of classic burlesque was done to like a piano. Do you know what I mean? Dee 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 dee. Yes. And it was really campy.
Very one-dimensional. Mm-hmm. The classic, because they didn't have what we have now. So that was interesting. And you have to definitely shave before you use fire, else you're,
Yeah. I think what I really wanted to do was find a way of bridging the gap between commercial dance and theater.
Yes.
And burlesque is a good balance because commercially I can get the guys who want to come and see hot girls dance in a bra and panty. And then theatrically I can get the theater people because they understand that there's going to be an element of performance. It's not just going to be dance steps.
So go ahead. Sorry.
Make sure you get a question. I want you go ahead with your question.
So I love everything you described. I think, I checked out some of your work, and the one for me, so I'm 57 years old. Let's just set that right there.
That's amazing. So, you look so good.
Thank you very much. So I went online. I was like, okay, I could never show my mom this because she would be like, oh my Lord. But I think what you just described is I think it was called the Hoary Heart.
Mm-hmm.
That was like such a great example of what you're describing, right? It was so cool to like that whole edgy part to it and everything. It was really, really cool. I was like, I actually sent it to my son who's 24 years old and it's like, check this out. He's like, Mom, really? It's really cool. But I think that just kind of like takes together what you described. So let me ask you this. How is your mom with all of this?
So one of the things that makes me the happiest about what I do is that not just my mom comes to all of my shows, but my mom is sort of a hippie. You know what I mean? She's sort of like, she's cool. But like, even these girls, like I tend to have relatively young girls between the ages of 19 to like 28 tend to be the basis of my cast. And their parents come and see these shows. And this one girl, her dad came to me and said, I've never seen my daughter look more beautiful. And I was like, you do realize that she was in a bra and panty, right? And he's like, yeah, but like, I've just never seen her internally look more beautiful. And I was like, that's how I knew that what I was doing was on the right track. Because for a young girl's father to come and say that, I had this other girl that just in my show, Jane Rose, that I'm airing on Valentine's Day. This girl's grandmother came and saw the show. And her grandmother was like, I don't normally leave my house, but when's the next one? You know?
I mean, honestly, what you're dressed, the way they dress, and I'm going to go right to Jen quickly, is like in Dancing with the Stars. Really, it's not as risque as you think when you see what ends up on Dancing with the Stars or some of these other dancing shows. So you're really taking and theater in certain ways.
And sorry, not to cut you, but I think what it is too is it's what I have them doing. Like, even though it's very sensual and it can borderline sexual, it's still tastefully done. You know what I mean? Like, they're not opening their crotch to the audience. Like, if they're going to open their legs, their back is to the audience. So it's creating this constant, like, this bated breath to see what's going to happen next. And I think that's the thing that's similar to like Dancing with the Stars. Because if you were to take those costumes and put a pole in the middle of it, it changes the whole narrative. You know, so it's a taste level.
And one of the things I love, my background is theater and acting, and I love the theatrical parts of some of the dancers having their own props and everything. What props have you gotten into for your vignettes?
I think I've had a girl do a pole routine, but I made sure that she was dressed. You know, so there has been pole stuff. I like to do things with canes and hats, boas. One girl did a solo and she had fabric fans and she was on point and she like traveled through the audience. I used mic stands. I used the environment. One girl's solo was like all along the bar and then she falls into the arms of boys. Like, I really like my events and my shows to feel interactive and like the show can happen anywhere, you know. And when I sell tickets, there's like action zones. So if you're sitting on the aisles or in the front two rows, you could be pulled in and brought in and involved in some way or shape or form.
That's incredible. I love those action zones. That's awesome.
That is so cool. So I know you've worked with Snoop Dogg and you worked with The Dream and The Heroes. So who is that dream person that you want to work with that you haven't yet?
Oh my Lord. The dream person that I want to work with. It's hard because a lot of the people that I really want to work with have passed away. Like, I was a huge fan of Aaliyah. Like, I loved her. I love Whitney Houston. I really want to work with like legends. You know what I mean? Like, I really want to work with people who have done it, been there, and appreciate the talent that I contribute to their show. But if I was going to pick somebody alive, my dream artist, I would really like to work with Dua Lipa, actually. I love how her music is so worldly and that she's open to trying different things. Like she's very, I like her energy. So yeah, she'd probably be on my list.
She would add a lot to your show too, just with that expansion of the world, just having that in there, or go all around the world in burlesque.
So well. She would lend so well to it. You know what I mean? I'm surprised they haven't done it yet, but that's where I come in.
Neil, can you hook him up, please? Make that dream come true. Make that gratitude dream come true.
Yes, gratitude.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so go with your gratitude moment, Jen.
So my gratitude moment, I have a question that I ask every guest. And where along your journey did you have this gratitude moment that brought you to where you are now?
Ooh. My gratitude moment was when I met truth be told, it was when I was like 6 or 7 years old. I danced in a community group and all the kids got scared and like backed out. And I was like, I'm going on stage. And I went on stage by myself and I did the routine. And the reaction from the crowd is what solidified for me that this is what I was supposed to do. And I've carried that with me continuously through everything.
That is gorgeous. That is an amazing gratitude moment. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you for asking.
That's what Gratitude Radio Network and Your Beautiful Day is about. Pearl, last question for Hollywood Jade.
So Hollywood, what's the next thing? We've got the February 14th coming out. What's your next project that you've got working on, and how can we reach you?
The next project, unfortunately, COVID put a wrinkle in my plans. I had planned to do film an anniversary special in which I went back and looked at all the routines from the last 10 years that we've worked on, and with the current cast, reimagine them and present them on March 17th, which is our anniversary. But now I have to pivot. So I'm trying to figure out a good way to put together an anniversary special so that we can celebrate the 10-year anniversary of Urbanesque. You can find me on Instagram at Hollywood Jade. My website is coming soon. And yeah, for bookings, you can contact my agents at Talent House.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So Jen, close it out. Go, Jen. Jen, you're on mute.
I am on mute. I want to thank you for being on the show with us today. We so appreciate you sharing with us Burlesque and your journey with it. I think it's one of those things that just everyone needs to go to, and I'm excited to eventually see your show. I can't wait until the 14th of this month. So for everyone listening, we've been sharing some time with Hollywood Jade, choreographer to Canada's Drag Race, and has a virtual viewing of his show, Urbanesque, Jane Rose Show, on February 14th. We want to congratulate you on your 10-year anniversary of Burlesque with Urbanesque. And
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. We love you so much. I'd like to thank Neil Haley.
Yes.
And thank you so much for being with me. And Pearl Sharenza.
It was great being on. So excited for you, Hollywood Jade.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys.
Definitely some exciting times coming, and just the opportunities. So that's great. We can't wait to hear about you when your website comes out and all those different things, and appreciate everything. So go ahead, Jen, I guess you go with your final saying, but I appreciate you coming on for sure.
Thank you so much. So wherever your day goes today, remember you are blessed, you are loved, and you are sacred. We love you. Mwah. Have a beautiful day.